For nearly a decade, the narrative surrounding Mitch Marner was completely set in stone. Elite regular season playmaker, absolute playoff ghost. In Toronto, he was the designated scapegoat for a franchise trapped in first-round hell. The guy who shrank when the lights got bright, and he's suffocated by the pressure of the center of the hockey universe. But fast forward to right now, the narrative hasn't just changed, it has been completely obliterated.
Mitch Marner, an elite guy that plays in all situations.
His vision, his ability to find the open man.
I'm the guy that likes to have a lot of fun and joke around.
Who are you talking to? I'm on camera and you're never gonna believe it. You don't want to block that one, Brennan.
Score! It's Mitch Marner!
It's my world, yeah.
I'm Mitch Marner, right wing for the Vegas Golden Knights. Welcome to my world.
By William Karlsson, he springs a man, Mitch Marner, who's in, and he stuffs it home! Mitchell Marner!
Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable, vindicating individual turnarounds in recent memory. As we speak, the Vegas Golden Knights have punched their ticket back to the Stanley Cup Final, and leading the entire NHL postseason in scoring isn't Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, or Nikita Kucherov. It is Mitchell Daniel Marner. 21 points in 15 games, a natural hat trick against Anaheim, a between-the-leg backhand goal that went viral, and the current odds-on favorite to hoist the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. How does a player go from being the most scrutinized, heavily criticized playoff performer in Canada to a cold-blooded big game killer in the desert? Is it the tactical freedom of playing away from the core four microscope? Is it Vegas, the aggressive high-octane system unlocking a side of his game we've never seen? Or did Mitch Marner simply just need to escape the pressure cooker of Ontario to finally reach his true potential? In this video, I'm sharing my thoughts as to why Mitch Marner has found a completely new level away from Toronto. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode right here on Above Average. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Yes, we're talking about Mitch Marner, and just what a great story it is. I'm so happy that he's been able to find some success elsewhere, and yeah, he sure looks like a completely different player. Definitely in the playoffs, that's for sure. He had a pretty solid regular season. Obviously, there's going to be some change, and it'll take him a while to, probably next year, I could see him coming close to being a 100-point player, but this is a new team, right? His first year with said new team, but the playoffs, that's what we're talking about today. Just a completely different player, not really shying away from skating with the puck, doing things that we have not seen Mitch Marner do in Toronto. Yes, we've seen him, be clutch for Canada, but for Toronto, not even close. Completely different player. So why, Trev? Why? What happened? What's the change? And I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to share my thoughts as to why I think Mitch Marner has found a new level elsewhere in Vegas. And I don't think has anything to do with the play of Vegas, the coach John Tortorella unlocking something, or Bruce Cassidy unlocking anything. His line mates, he had plenty of talent to play with in Toronto. It's a pretty obvious answer, and we'll get right to it. But as always, guys, thanks for all the continued support. If you're new to the channel, I'm trying to do hockey videos, not just Oilers hockey videos, but cover the whole NHL. I want to do some new series here coming up. So if you like this type of content, if you want more content like this, drop a comment down below. I read and interact with every single one, and it's actually the sponsored segment right here on Above Average, brought to you by www.timetrackers.ca. If your comment gets the most likes in this video, I'll be giving it a shout out in my next video. So what are your thoughts? I'm very interested, guys, and we're on the road to 8K subs. If you could help me reach that would be just awesome. So with all that out of the way, let's get right back into this video. So how does a player go from this to this? Really, the answer isn't too hard to find out. In the NHL, there are places where you can lose 5 games in a row, walk down the street in a t-shirt, and not a single person will know your name. And then there is Canada, when a 2-game slump doesn't just make the evening news, it becomes a civic crisis. When players talk about the unique weight of playing north of the border, it's not an excuse. It's a completely different lifestyle. In a market like Toronto, hockey isn't just entertainment, it is the dominant cultural religion.
Obviously, we're looked upon as, kind of gods here, to be honest.
The media corps covering the Maple Leafs is larger than some NFL teams. Every single mistake, every casual comment in the locker room, and every minor slump is microscopically dissected by dozens of reporters, hundreds of radio hosts, and millions of fans online. There is no escape. You go to the grocery store, you're recognized. Your family goes to school, they hear the chatter. The noise follows you home. For some guys, that constant scrutiny is suffocating. When you play under a microscope for long enough, you stop playing to win, and you start playing not to make a mistake. The game becomes heavy. You see players completely reinvent themselves the second they get traded to a market where the spotlight is softer and the room is quiet. And Mitch Marner isn't the only example of this. Taylor Hall, he enters the league with the Oilers, and although he was pretty solid here, as soon as he was traded, he would go on to have his best season by far. Jonathan Huberdeau made history when he joined the Flames for biggest point drop-off in a single season. He got 115 points with Florida. He was then traded, and he followed it up with 55 points with Calgary. And even going back in time with Larry Murphy, when he played for the Maple Leafs in the mid-90s, he became the ultimate poster child for a fan base looking for a scapegoat. The hometown crowd mercilessly booed him every single time he touched the puck at Maple Leaf Gardens. The pressure got so toxic that it completely warped his game. He looked hesitant, made uncharacteristic mistakes, and was eventually traded away for practically nothing just to get him out of the city. He was then traded to the Detroit Red Wings in 1997. Free from the Toronto microscope, Murphy instantly returned to form, playing a steady, elite top four role and helping Detroit win back-to-back Stanley Cups in 97 and 98. He routinely talked about how the drop in daily media scrutiny allowed him to just breathe and play hockey again. These are just a few examples, and I'm aware that this is not always the case, but for Mitch Marner, this absolutely checks out. Because Marner wasn't just scrutinized online, that happens for almost every athlete in every sport out there, but Marner's case was to the extreme.
Been some dark moments in my hockey career, really.
I mean, there's been some dark times in hockey for myself, honestly.
A well-known Toronto Maple Leafs player was the victim of an armed carjacking last night. The team confirmed that Mitch Marner's vehicle was stolen in Toronto's West End.
2 handguns and a knife involved in this carjacking, according to the Toronto Police Service.
For those that don't know, Mitch Marner hired full-time private security for 2 weeks to guard his home following a 2025 playoff exit with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The decision came after his home address was leaked online and individuals issued death threats, creating severe concerns for the safety of his family and newborn son. However, that's not all. May 16th, 2022, Mitch Marner and his then fiance were held at gunpoint being involved in an armed carjacking. So to the people asking, where is this coming from? Why couldn't Mitch do this in Toronto? Well, why the hell do you think? I don't think the pressure had anything to do with it. I think the negative hate and the boos and the online trolls were absolutely the main factor in this. Because as we've seen in the last best on best tournaments, you could argue no one has been more clutch than Mitch Marner. It was the first game of the Four Nations. It was in overtime. Mitch Marner, he came up clutch. OT winner against Sweden. Unreal. He assisted on captain Connor. He wasn't the captain, but he assisted on Connor McDavid and, the Four Nations final there against the Americans. That was great. And then obviously against Czechia in the Olympics this year. What does he do? He goes 1v3 backhand beauty and Canada advances. So he's shown up. He has shown up for his country. And he's showing up right now for Vegas. Why didn't he show up for Toronto? It's pretty clear, man. I'm sorry. He was getting ripped to shreds online, off the line, media, fans. Everyone was talking about it. The questions every single day. I mean, how annoying and how taxing would that be on your mental state of the game? Extremely taxing. I'm telling you, man, the people that are just like, where did this come from? Give your head a shake, obviously. Playing in a Canadian market. And that's another thing as well. That's one thing, being a Canadian and playing in a Canadian market. It ups the stakes. And Mitch Marner being an Ontario boy, his dream playing for the Maple Leafs, I can't help but think that if he could go back in time, he wish he wasn't. I feel like if you asked him, would you rather have started your career elsewhere? What would you have wanted, Mitch? He would have absolutely been like, yep, 10 times out of 10. I would have loved to have been south of the border because it wouldn't have, I wouldn't have had to deal with all the hate and, you know, not just himself, but his family as well. And it's crazy. And I will say, like, Maple Leafs fans, they boo you out of town. He finally finds success, and then they boo him for that. But the main reason why Mitch Marner wasn't good in Toronto was not because of him. It was because of you. It was because of the fans and the media and the headlines and all that. Like, I'm sorry, but it's the honest to God truth. You guys ripped on the player for 9 years. It was like, I swear I saw way more negative comments online for Mitch Marner than positive, and it wasn't even close. So kind of crazy. And I know I'm calling out Leafs fans. I know a lot of the Leafs fans are going to come at me here. There are some really, really good Leafs fans, and there are Leafs fans that absolutely cherished Mitch Marner donning the Maple Leaf and appreciated everything he did for the organization. But I think for every one unreal, you know, diehard, very respectful Maple Leafs fan, there's probably 10 just negative Maple Leafs fans that follow. And it's not just Toronto. Like I said, there are other franchises like that for sure. But Toronto, I mean, it is it's the Maple Leafs, right? That is the mecca of hockey. Them and the Montreal Canadiens. So to Mitch Marner, you absolute beauty. I mean, you can't help but cheer for this guy. Seeing him just play without being ripped on. It's refreshing, and it's honestly, I think it's going to lead to more superstars going south of the border, because a lot of players, they really embrace, you know, playing in a Canadian market. A lot of players definitely don't. And Mitch Marner, I think he falls in that category. So what are your guys' thoughts? Drop a comment down below. I read and interact with every single one. Thanks for all the continued support. We're on the road to 8K subs. So if you could help me reach that would seriously be so sick. It'll be interesting. It really will be. Will Mitch Marner win the Conn Smythe? Will he bring the Stanley Cup back home to Toronto with another team? How crazy would that be? Yeah, it's awesome to see. Like, I'm really, really happy for him. And I think a lot of Maple Leafs fans are happy for him as well. But there definitely are a lot that are just, I know there are a lot that are just like, oh, why couldn't you do that here? And then those are the ones that just ripped him to shreds. And I know a lot of people, oh, they're paid, they're professional athletes, Trev. They deserve to get ripped. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. You can rip them, but no, it comes with a cost. You can absolutely, freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, but just because you can rip your team and rip players on their team, don't think that, you know, when they leave, like, oh, they're soft, you know. Like, obviously, who wants to play for an organization that fans treat them like absolute crap? Would you? Is that what you would want? I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't want that. So that's all I got for this one, guys. Like I said, thanks for all the continued support. Let's go Mitchy Marner. It would be awesome if he could, well, it would be awesome, but then I really don't want the Golden Knights to win the cup as well. Let's go Halsey. Let's go Taylor Hall, babies. Is there any other reasons why Mitch Marner has been, unleashed in Vegas? I don't think so. I think this is the main reason why. And but if you have any theories, drop a comment down below. I read every single one. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. I'm Trev. Peace. Don't be average when you can be above average. Peace.